We were away for the weekend, and we came home late at night. And in the morning, when I opened the drapes, I saw this thing sitting there, and I says, "Oh my Lord, where did that come from?" Here it is in our yard almost. So it was quite unsettling. We're used to it. Yeah, we're getting used to it, right?
I'm James Bagwell. I'm in Frisco, North Carolina, sitting in front of my spaceship on Highway 12 down on Hatteras Island. When I purchased it, it was a hot dog stand at the local campground right below us. I was going to open up a flea market, and I wanted something to turn people's heads, to catch an eye. A lot of people stopped to take pictures. Look, look. It seems to intrigue a lot of people, just the idea of the concept and the design. And so I leave it here as a photographic opportunity to take a break on a long road trip, because you really have to work to get down the island this far.
Here behind?
This is, I got a messing rental. I put it here just to play with the county. The county hates it. And so this is, if I kind of jerk their chain and they're really desperately hoping it's going to disappear.
I got it. I like that better than anything else you've told
I mean, I may be antisocial, but bureaucrats aggravate me sometimes.
My name is Burl Wilson. I am a former wood carver. A while back I had the fun of having a little carving shop down in Frisco, and the spaceship was just adjacent to me across the parking lot. I could see out of my window, and I could see people who couldn't see me, of course, and the things that people did when you don't know that somebody's looking at them. I've had the occasion when people decided they wanted to moon the spaceship. I had people came by with a chicken one time and wanted to take a picture of this rubber chicken. Some things probably wouldn't be appropriate to put on film, the things that I have seen there.
Oh, there was a lot of people that would stop, and some of them would tell you how that they studied UFOs, and this is a little different than real ones because of this, or similar to real ones because of this characteristic of the building. My brother and I run the Scotch Bonnet Fudge and Gifts in Frisco, North Carolina. My parents originally bought this place in '81, and they bought the flying saucer, the spaceship, in late '80s. My parents thought that would be a really neat landmark for the business. At first they had rented it out. It served as the office for our campground, because we have a campground here as well. And my brother and I lived in it for 2 summers. I know some people don't like it, but it's so unique. It keeps people on their toes, if nothing else.
This is where it used to sit. It didn't have a traditional door. It had actually a hatch that was built into the, I guess, belly. It had an electromagnet latch, and you push the button and the hatch would actually come down real slowly, and it had stairs that would bring you inside. And you just pull the rope and it goes up real easy and latches. It was basically a 1-bedroom apartment or house, It had a kitchen area. It was a small stove, small refrigerator.
Most of the walls in the living area and the one wall in the bedroom and bathroom were exterior walls, and it had windows all the way around, so you always had plenty of light in it. We used to have a ball with people that would stop. The only annoying part living in it was sometimes you get people at midnight knocking on the door going, "Can we come up and take a look?"
I'm not exactly sure how many people would stop there in a day, but I don't think anybody that rode them down the road at least slowed way down if they didn't stop. Most of the time they stopped both sides of the road.
Well, we have had dozens and dozens and dozens of tourists that stop by to take pictures and walk around it and try to get inside. Some of them. They stand on one another's shoulders to look in the windows even.
Our daughter just made that quilt. I said, our daughter just made that quilt for her birthday.
When the topic somehow comes up, we always say in a kind of a guilty way, let me tell you a little secret. This is a respectable old couple that you're talking to. We're the crazy people who put up the spaceship. It was in 1970 when we were down here on vacation.
We passed by some signs that said there was sand for sale, so to speak, so we looked into it. The ocean view, everything was just beautiful down here.
We bought it, and because it was a chance really to get away from Baltimore and stay away on vacation. And then we had to find a house that we could afford, and that was attractive. And
I saw the picture in Whole Earth catalog, and I thought, that's intriguing. The two of us said, okay, let's give it a try, and the kids loved it. I never thought very deeply about it. I saw it, I liked it, I bought it. The saucer was a minimalist place. You just couldn't put a lot of stuff around. We had what we needed and only what we needed.
you really couldn't get away from one another. You know, you couldn't go to your room and hide. So you were a captive of a situation where it was impossible not to enjoy yourself. The builders were not very straightforward with us. After a lot of conversations and threats of lawsuits back and forth, we got them to deliver the house in two halves on flatbed trucks. I had to fly down to Currituck, get a lawyer, go to court. They didn't do any work on the house, and they got in their car and went home and left the house sitting here in two halves on the street. It fell suddenly 3 feet and landed on the footings, but with a good jolt, and put a substantial dent in the belly of the house. We had friends, family members and close friends, and at the center of them was a builder. And he volunteered to come down and resuscitate this poor house. There was about a dozen of us, worked on the house, and from 6 in the morning to midnight every day for 2 solid weeks, and got it put together ourselves. You knew who your friends were from that experience because it was a heroic effort. We were within direct sight of the Ocracoke Ferry, and you could see the house from the ferry when it docked. Lots of people used to come over and knock on our door and say, "What a neat house, can we come in and take a look?" So many things have happened. Babies have been born, grown up, and gotten married in this period of time. And the people who have enjoyed the house still have a little corner of their hearts for that memory. These are guest books we have kept over the years. These are our next door neighbors from up in Baltimore. After 10 hours of driving in the pouring rain with a 17-month-old and 15 minutes trying to figure out how to get the saucer door open, of course the two unknown boys asking if we had any ray guns inside didn't help.
This is what I wrote the last day, March 19th, 1983, that we were in the saucer. I'll leave the front part, but then after dinner we worked till 12:30 a.m. and got up at 7 to finish. It took 2 trips to the garage to stow it all. We finished up, locked up, and said, "Wah!" as we left. The fire department at Buxton is to use it as an office just as long as it gets moved soon. End of an era. That was the end of it.
We had outgrown the house, our kids were big and so forth, so we couldn't exactly sell it. We gave it away to the volunteer fire department. They were going to burn it down for practice in putting out unusual fires, but they decided they'd rather have the money. They raffled it off, and it was moved to Frisco. Where it became a newspaper office, the old Monitor, then the foot-long, out-of-this-world hot dog stand with Martian cutouts. And the current owner, after some time, bought it and moved it across the road pretty much directly, painted it chrome, left the Martians in the windows, and there it sits. I always feel bad for the house, as though it had a personality of its own, like a really old, sick person who probably is just waiting to die and go to heaven.
I'm just sad. I feel so sad. It was such a lovely place, and it's just a derelict. That's all it is. It reminds me of the former days of wonder.
Yeah, hundreds and hundreds of people have taken pictures of it, and I know that, oh golly, lots of people want to know could they buy it. They would pay a pretty penny for it, but I don't think that even if the people would sell it, I don't think it's movable. I think it's too far gone to be. It would crumble when they tried to move it. That would be my thought about it.
One time I was working out here on my the driveway area, and a couple of young people stopped, and they asked me if it belonged to me, and I said, no. He said, "We would like to buy it from you." So why would you want to buy that thing? Because we would use it as a, what did they do in college?
Fraternity house.
A fraternity house.
They wanted it for, you're right.
I said, go ahead and take it. I don't care.
It was advertised for sale in Playboy magazine in 1976. They had a 6-page spread. They sold it as the ultimate bachelor's pad. Production companies in Florida have tried to buy it, to take it to Florida to use as a film set, a background ornamental. 2 businesses in Nags Head and Kildover Hills have tried to buy it, to put it as an ornamental in their front yard to kind of get people to come in. I got a car dealer that calls me every year that wants to buy it. It just seems to intrigue so many people, and it's so nice to photograph it, and it's just a topic of conversation. So I just leave it here to play with people. If I'm still alive, it'll be sitting here.